Page 344. Why, asking of it why, are I all arcing of it? Now as ka, now knowing, turning to be as thoughts of a being, to perceive information, asking of it why, as ka now, cosmic now, knowing out of it, as to be any arc, any role, or y'all turning, burning, playing out as existing in name alone, y'all still alone. Indivisible invisibility of any individual. Moore took a deep breath as he noticed Christina staring back at him with a bemused expression. The Taurus energy surge welled out his pie hole, as his first grade teacher was fond of saying. Fact was, he found himself getting on to why speak dialectic every bit liberating. Literally a library of liberation by De Luca de Buca. Reality, reality asking of it why, a being who exakas in a wordly, y'all, now in her eyes a while as though as thoughts of it inform as before his eyes. As X, the simple singular knife, kanifa, twisting into a double, a duplicate form as in spiraling out of fate, faith, family. Out in trust of it now, while here out in her eyes, zapping up psi whole wave ray bodies, we all a wheel turning black around indivisible invisibility, infinite potential of any mirror or why memory mirrored as I on you, duplicating in a duplicity of a why now, as though anybody, any meager, measly, wan, thin king of it, why as thoughts is existing, existing out in the or why, or I, they, the wire, or I now, why, or why not me, or I on you, or ideating me, her, him, it, I on you, her, me's, is yet, iota, I in tat. It was as if finding the keys otro lado, into the otherwise side, hey, as Corner was fond of saying, got my big feet in the window and my head on the ground, going down, going black around. Y'all spun out in the Y speak. Got that ignited ignition fire of a ray cognition in your eyes out in the or why. It is a gas, baby. All right, y'all, a gas. It will blow out your eye or why mind out in the or why of y'all. We all a wheel turned into or out of a being seen still free in the first place. A being center-centered centrality of it in paruma awaken aten. A being's out in the or why, a being seen in word, knowing, running in the night. Christina's eyes glowed with that inner fire she called Veda. Veda Vidya Vidvan, asking of it why, now ask ka now. Knowing anybody, knowing Veda is being Veda, she would say. A why I aten, any I at attention, feeling it, feeling like fielding the Veda, baby, Moore responded. Of course, a being still in Paruma may awaken out, still a being in that Paruma at attention. Pay or play attention. Christina gave with a mock wagging of her forefinger. Akhenaten and his monotheistic warrior priests were able to use the scaffolding of a purely phonetic language to facilitate their invention of alpha beta. Sanskrit or Sanskritam, that Aryan, well-developed ascription of sound waves without letters, without letterly, y'all, form as inward spelling of alpha beta would have served this purpose. That supersonic language city power of gods would have been transmitted orally by those initiated warrior priests passing through a rigorous pramana teaching methodology, jumping gaps across races and places. Along with bronze, metallurgy, horses, and war chariots, the invading Asiatic Indo-Europeans would bring Veda. Veda would come as sure as sweat from the brow or any sacred, meaningful sounds from mouths of the warrior priests. Their superior conquering civilization developed out of Veda transmitted through the Mahamanaha, the great Ma-mana now, with or without womb, man as mind, or Wayad-he-vav-he. These Asiatics covered Egypt like a blanket that smothered Egyptian culture for a century or more, till the Egyptians adopted their own Veda with chariots and armor of their own. Eventually, Egypt prevailed, pushing the invaders out. But their influence had entered the priestly bloodstream. A Nile, now Aska, now knowing denial of Veda. Astronomy, medicine, mathematics, metallurgy, art, politics, y'all vastly enriched. Threaded through the supersonic Vedic oral library, pramana, a means for realizing Brahmatma. She paused. Atma, Aten, or a being seen, beaming, Arai, all at attention, Eska, now knowing out inward, y'all this Veda knowledge without any phonographic iconography, a being seen still complete, invisibility without letterly, y'all spelling it, a language without letters. For my sound waves means of appearing out of it, understanding the overstanding over man as Mahimanaha. Great mind, still without record of it out beyond supersonic cosmic memory of it. Sans hieroglyphics to be carved into stone stellae, leaving visible trace records. Veda brought forward on waves of supersonic brain of Brahman. The great singular indivisible invisibility awareness of anybody now, a phonographic individual, a being seen in supersonic man as a phonographic mind, or wise any mere denial in memory now not. Denied asking of it why now, a knowing out of it phonographically a while. Still a being seen in any unique point of view, or you now phonographically appearing out of it. That's the real thinking of it, purpose of ABCs. A reality, a reality, asking of it why, a being seen, appearing, and gazing of it, a freestanding, supersonic, first-person singular I, still in the first place of that I am is appearing and gazing it, now from above as below, of a being seen, not literally, y'all, as inward thoughts of appearing, opening with a polarity on hand, of it supersonically or phonographically polarizing it out of any Y as X, y'all, a unique point of view, a unique quest, asking of it why, arcing of it why now, you or Y as a mirror or Y as X. In the or YQ of a being still that great supersonic indivisible invisibility in man as mind of a being seen now, asking of it why now, any chintzy chiseling scant thin king of it with ink as on paper, paper, alright, remembering letterly, y'all, out information in mem or Y, yet just us, y'all, are I membering a being still indivisible invisibility now, are I membered? Is any thoughts of that? Pay y'all attention, remembering a being still it in the first place, indivisible invisibility. Are eye of a being seen appearing and gazing it out of anybody now? No, knowing it as zany, scrawny, scant, star, thinking of it. That it a being we all, just us, a wheel turning into and out of it, still it. That a being seen beaming in you all now, as Ka now knowing, turning out of it a positive negation. Negation of it into appearing apparent in any withered, tenuous, tawdry thinking of it. Why now a being seen otherwise? Moore found himself out in a word a while, still a being of that first personic singular person, a prior why to appearing, disappearing, in toward, twisting into the darkness of a being black around, now knowing out as any denial of it. A Y as existing out information while DNA in name alone. How many war chariots is the alpha beta supersonic 3D cubic space in a time machine worth? Christina asked. Alpha beta, ABCs of a being seen still in the first place, appearing and gazing it now supersonically out. By Veda asking of it why knowledge allegedly merging with thousands pictorial phonographic hieroglyphs. With the portable ABC time machine, a YI in the first place, appearing it, gazing its exodus out now, toward a twisting and twirl appearing, a space in time, a 3D cubic space in time, now in words as Ka, now knowing it possible. The monotheists took their material wealth, but page 346. But more importantly, a 3D portable recording, vocal or graphic means of carrying out, demarking of it, the covenant with the divine Father, Pharaoh I, in our eye, y'all, at attention. Our eye, Aten, AY, now, guaranteeing them the promised land of Canaan. Veda or knowledge is non-literally, y'all, purely a supersonic meaningful memory bank of vast dimensions. You yet a indivisible mean, you now twin, you now as cause, now knowing a between macro or micro consciousness of any mere or why means of a mind or y'all now reflected inwardly y'all turning as ka now knowing out of it a meaningful of y'all. The cult of cultivating out invisibility of ABCs of a being seen out in a word name are all still of indivisible invisibility as any individual, merely mirrored appearing and gazing it into appearing out information of its supernatural superimposes any thoughts of a singular great God as say to be literally y'all now as ka now knowing projecting of a being seen born out as any mere why now as X per eye in seeing a meaningful memory of it a while now as cunning uncanny contagious denial a positive psycho power, a wild DNA, a wave wheel function of Y or U now as existing information as zany or Evray body, a black around wave function echoing of it, a Y as meaningful means as X pressing G's us we all a wheel turning into or out of a gravity weight of waiting on any scrawny, wanting, wasted thinking of it out information, as existing toward a twisting into ideal, functional image imagined as any thoughts of it, a being seen merely mirrored, supernaturally superimposed information a while now, a time or two, relying on the near complete conscious spell cast by the phonographic portable alpha beta time machine. a time now new, even of old. A spelling of it still here in her eyes of any, now why or you, everybody. Anybody with intention at attention captive in the ABC time now, machina, a, eve, ray, body. Ag listening personic Jesus, a la queen and K of that in which potential, as any appearing of it, information of it now, asking of it why, now as ka knowing, turning out of denial. As so much of it in toward informing in effect now anybody, etc. The work or play of a time machine loop that moves in one direction, turning now into a unknown why mirrored as see as potential of a black around and still with intent of turning into a gain, one of it. Of a polarity of a positive negativity now as ka now knowing out a synapse still complete de-arc and essay completely complete arcing of it why now to be we all a wheel into a y playing out as x y'all infinite loopy de loop psi whole power appearing as x y'all. To know Veda in Sanskritam offered supersonic memory banks of light years beyond any mere or why nah native vernacular. It included Astajai, a highly evolved supersonic grammatical system of sutras, shortened sentences systematically codified for memory. Astajai, initiated Vedic warrior priests, carried y'all their voluminous scripture, Sanskritam, well inscribed in their memory. Thus, Vedic memory exceeded any mere wide lifetime orally passed on in an unbroken lineage, as a being seen in a word freedom awareness of it in sight, transferring a wise dome us, a great house of Parama Purusha, a first-person singular awareness now of a why I of that I am appearing and gazing it out now, appearing information of it, why years orally, moment after momentum, generation to generation. Their Veda knowledge would have been instrumental in developing, in less than a decade, the 3D cubic phonographic or supersonic alpha beta means meaningful of Ak et Aten. A complete duplication of it. Planet Earth. A planet hearth of Ak as in Aten, a 10 binary by now RI, featuring phonographic lettering duplicating ABCs of a being seen still in the first place, indivisible invisibility, a being seen now yet, asking of it why, knowing out of it in toward a twisting into appearing as X, literally, all a reality. Reality. Asking of it why, knowing out any gone, emaciated, wanting one, thinking of it, derived from sacred hieroglyphs. Thus, producing as supersonic thoughts invisibility of ABCs mirroring a being seen now, a cubic space in time. Informa sound means understanding any inward spelling of it, casting a time machine recording with incas on papyrus scrolls. Out in a space in time a while, as ka now knowing, turning informas any or ivre bodies exodus from Ak etin Aten y a la queen K and K, duplicating, paying attention, merely mirrored in word. An exodus accompanied by the armies of Divine Father, Pharaoh I in Ariel, in a YI appearing and gazing it out in toward a captivity at attention of Adonai, to recapture the promised still land, duplicate function invisibility, and repopulate the vassal state of Canaan, currently overrun by Epirus, marauding nomadic brigands. The monotheists had a covenant with Divine Father Pharaoh I of Aden I as the chosen to take over control and repopulate a piece of the empire held captive by formidable armies of Hittites and Philistines. Ultimately, this would take some 40 years before the monotheistic warrior priests could move further north from the Moabite territory of the Sinai Desert, where they wandered since their exodus from Akhenaten. A why I have been seen now, asking of a why, knowing it out of Egypt. Existing in a why I, pointing out as Exodus in a word. A point of view of you of why now, pointing out. Beginning, sending out me or you as memory in a word. The chosen monotheistic warrior priests were verboten from taking the sacred hieroglyphs out of Egypt. The D ark, a perceived arking of it, why now the Ska roll of the covenant with Adonai, now with Incas on papyrus, an agreement of ABCs of a being seen still in the first place, Adonai, indivisible invisibility, now a reality, a reality, asking of it why, a queen, and K of that in which we all turn out, appearing of it information. Invisibility of it literally, all ABCs of it being seen a while by the time now, any knowing out of it written in word with Incas on papyrus. A why I, asking of it why now, any roll or roll of the covenant could supernaturally, as any thoughts of a great God, as say to be literally, y'all, a being seen now carried out of Egypt. Still it would reside, untouched, word freedom, in the voluminous memory of the monotheistic warrior priests. Is that the papyrus passed on to you? The D ark of the covenant with our king of it, why, Adonai? Moore's neck hairs crackled. The march of time now echoing a ping-ting thundering, then subsiding to a steady buzzing in his wires. Sheena continued without answering. In the first place, they must remember Anoki Adonai. A why I yet merely appearing and gazing at that I am is in time now, appearing of it out information as any memory at attention. Atten binary eyes of a being seen still indivisible invisibility. At attention of our eye, why time now as zany eye appearing, a gazing it. Page 348. Appearing a gazing it still in the first place, in a word freedom us. The key eye of any knowing denial and ABCs of a being seen, yet that indivisible invisibility of any individual now, still asking of it why, cultivated, cherished, and word-shipped and letterly, all ABCs of a being seen appearing and gazing it out, in towards supernaturally appearing of it superimposed, as any thoughts of the divine array, all iti aten. Y'all still asking of it why at attention awareness as to now, in time, a knowing out of it any denial of it. In a while now, a wily while of a space in time now, as God now, knowing, turning out of it as X, y'all. The covenant with Adonai's in space. Moore now found himself still asking of it why now any knowing denial of it. Yet a being seen merely appearing and gazing out in a wily while of any space in time now appearing of it. Our king of it, why knowing out anybody, any chiseling, wanting, wasted thin king of it as any chintzy double. Of it in a craft of a wordship duplicity, carrying a wavery body out into a twisting black around as thoughts of any city of dupes. On planet Earth, a plan adding here, supersonically superimposed as any thoughts of a great God, literally, y'all, appearing of it, a duplicity in any space and time now, still asking of it why, a la queen and K of that in which appears anybody, etc., etc., a while now. Akhenaten as any duplicity of Ak, Christina continued. Our king of it, why ala queen K of that in which any or everybody appears out in any city of dupes. It being seen still in the first place, the first principal point of view of you in our eye, all of appearing and gazing it out. Now any seer sight seeing, a knowing, turning it out as any skinny, scant, thin king of it, a chintzy, thin king of it. As measly anybody, as any time, as anywhere, still that free standing in a word freedom awareness of a being seen in a wide eye of hermit, with a potent potential polarity on hand, y'all now knowing out a positive negation of it, into appearing information of it out in a while now, a cubic space and time in ABCs of a being seen, will we all, after a while of DNA, appear to disappear in toward a twisting into a black around, echoing any complete duplicate rolls of it. A rolling out in her black eyes, zapping ting of any or everybody as leap black around as yet, a wide eye of her image merely appearing and gazing it from above as below, of a being with a polarity, a potential polarity on the one hand. Our eye, y'all, free to why not light, igniting y'all, ignoring it on the other hand. In a word, freedom us, a being seen still in the first place, indivisible, invisibility of anybody. The hurrying it now, asking of it why now, holding it, offering often as cosmic day to why not light from above while freestanding, in a word, freedom below. Alright, all from that, the eye, stare eye, story of odd and eye, at attention in the or why any mirror y'all's to nature. She now kept circling in time with her voice, leading more out of his body in an exodus of mind or why memory. He found his attention soaring high above as below the little matrix of urban sprawl in the or why, freed in a word freedom turning out into the overmind, or y'all being seen in that now out in a word freedom yet understanding of the spelling of ABCs existing merely mirrored in word. Now it seems in the or why that exodus still ongoing. The wave of a life as X, y'all, remains in effect 99.9% of any time. Yet, as fully a third of it has leaped black into a unconsciousness. A singular X per eye in seeing indivisible invisibility of a blackness instilling now a knowing to be a gain of it. Now then, awakenaten, at attention of a Y-eye appearing and gazing it out in a Y-eye wave ray body appearing of it in denial as X, y'all. Of such we all turn into an accomplice, as two of our own, a tricky bitchin' crafty deceit. As any thoughts of a great God, Jesus, literally, all understanding in toward a twisting into the gravity weight of waiting on death in denial of it merely appearing and gazing at y'all along the wave function of motion, appearing, turning out, disappearing. Y'all, this time inward captivity turns out to be mere or wise supernatural memory of it here out in her eyes of everybody and toward a twisting into spelled out appearing of it as any name. More offered, while still wondering in word. The words as thoughts rang a bell that seemed to awaken an ancient slumbering twin, at attention paid playing out in a word freedom awareness of a being seen, a twin a between indivisible invisibility as any seer sight seeing, appearing it, a gazing it out now, a reality, ity asking of it why, a knowing intoward appearing of it, a twisted mirrored being tween, a black around twin echo turning out or in her eyes as any or everybody as leap black into a unconsciousness, a consciousness, a la queen, cat K of that in which appearing of it, awakening at attention playing out in any role of complete darkness. Anybody perceived now to be still arcing of it why, as anybody appearing of it a while now, new day of the wide and eye light, igniting, ignoring out of it. Why, or you now appearing out information of it still in the first place, indivisible invisibility. Now, why I, the being seen, y'all still mere or why potential as existing. A ping-ting out, catting about, here, out in her eyes of everybody, as any exodus is mirrored inward wave of appearing, a gazing it out of any eye as existing. Understanding only in the or why, a spelling of any exposition. As X in toward a twisting into O, appearing out information of me or you a memory. We all, even as appearing, turning into Ivre or anybody, remain in the or why now as that indivisible invisibility of any individual, a being seeing that I, of that I am, is. Why y'all must laugh your ass of finding now, picking up on it in the word freedom awareness, of a being still even in the or why, immortal, changeless, invincible. Or y'all not now denied, while denied DNA by that simple twist of fate of any denial. War, or why war Raina's viral scheme, rests on that denial, Christina added. In the or why, alien why, nation notion of any alternating awareness assures his success. That 3,000 plus year old spelling out of alpha beta in toward a twisting into O appearing as any thoughts of a singular great goddess say to be literally, y'all, Monai. Monai, Monai, Monai. A monotheism, beginning in the is M or Y, of the defining articulation of it in toward thoughts of it in formaz, in a Y time machina, may now have a time release built into it. As here in her eyes, zapping information as existing expands beyond planet Earth. A planet Earth, I turning a black into a gain of one as cosmic blackness with ink as on paper, pop or comic memory. In the or why that I'm finding you now, breaking out any roll, or why you appear of it in or out of complete darkness, means the beginning is sending, as arcing of a why a funny thing is in any case any cosmic cause of it mere or why now inches above anybody's head, Christina offered, feet spread, hands on hips, head thrown back to gaze directly into starlight years. More, let the mirror sound waves of her voice play into his field of feelings. Playing out in her eyes, leaping into that feeling, he grasped. Page 350. He grasped their naked invisibility out in the cosmic magnitude. Still, his wounded knee reminded him of the situation at hand. His sails went suddenly slack. You seem to be reading those stars, Moore replied, turning back to watch her movement. Or they are reading me, dark artist, aware of the awareness that I am is. Deep perceived arcing vast cosmic flows through y'all as centered on we all in wheeling around through the eighth chakra, merely inches above the head, Christina laughed. In feeling that neuronic cellular field body of you, there seems to be synaptic electric fire as zapping gaps between neurons. Yet the unique point of view of a being out in her eyes as leaps black into indivisible invisibility, now asking of it why, as Ka, now knowing, turning out at black around, echoing a singular cosmic eyes of Ivre body appearing and gazing it out. Completion, completely into zany, singular potential at black around, echoing a touch, as any touching of me or you feeling its our body moment to momentum. As y'all, as cosmic microwave ray turning at black around instantaneously. Before it can as to happen, it already is. Indivisible, as that black around radiating here out in her eyes. E-ray body. Y'all breaking out badass means of any or E-ray body breaking out of captivity. Understanding ABC's spelling of a being seen in the or why. But y'all see the dilemma, she asked, reaching out to lift his chin with extended fingers. Dilemma of knowing it as thoughts of missing it. His mind eyes scrolled a roll of we all a wheel, and turning around on his supersonic Lupa playing out in a complete D-arc, perceived arcing of it Y flowing that lag around in one direction out. Out as X. Out in toward a Y, twisting and twirl, appearing as X. A wave or everybody appears of it as existing in name alone. A wave of y'all as existing now. In a knowing out any denial of it without realizing our reality. Asking of it why or why now a la queen, and K of that in which Ivre body, in which anybody appears of it out information in any eyes as existing, a motion while you're still. A being seen of you now, invisibility appearing out, gazing it out, asking of it why, a measly, starved, thin king of it, mirrored in toward a twisting in twelve, that indivisible invisibility, merely now mind, or why a memory appearing of it as why, a why as existing out information, as exiting, duplicating merely supernaturally as any thoughts of a singular great God, geez, us, a great geometric gravity, literally, all a weight. In ABCs, we're being seen superimposed as anybody waiting on it. It seems we all turn into or out of a singular black and round body, echoing supersonically, y'all sinning and spinning a wave, ask God, no, knowing, projecting, positively ignoring it out as thoughts of it, turning our indivisible awareness in the word freedom into one invisibility, appearing of it out now, turning into a knowing of it out in toward captivity. A being seen captive in denial of itself. Invisibility of it now, information as y'all playing out, paying attention only in toward inspiring any role of a being seen now, a complete singularity hidden in words. A invisibility appearing and gazing at attention in a singular cosmic microwave black around memory of a being seen still in the first place. Ah, the comic hilarity of it, Moore thought. Here, out in her eyes, as waves as zany majesty, Ma's jest. Why, that joke's on you, buddy boy, Moore chuckled. A being still indivisible, appearing by that seen invisibility now out of it. Appearing a while now at black around, echoing as ka no knowing out of a crafty inward denial of it, a being seen mirrored inward memory mind or why potential of it. It, y'all, as thoughts appearing, it by any mind or why memory now as though projecting it out of a being seen mirrored inward denial of it, a being seen still invisibility. Y'all gone crazy as a being seen in word as any thoughts of an informized joke of denying Jasus liberation. Ja still yad her him it of a why I appearing and gazing it from above as below of a being at attention, freestanding with potential polarity in hand. Then realizing in our eye, all eyes zinging, a beaming of a being seen in that eye of that I am is appearing of it Jasus. Jesus aware of awareness of a why I appearing, gazing it from any point of view of yada iota liberates at attention found, finding itself in the word freedom. ABC is indivisible from a being seen, captivated, mirrored in toward any meager, measly thinking of it as any otherwise. A knowing of Jah is a why I beaming a being seen still indivisible invisibility of any individual now out yet asking of it why in a knowing denial. That awareness in the word freedom, I, that I am, is merely appearing and gazing it out in her eyes of everybody as anybody being lack. With intent of it being a gain of Jesus, Jasus, Hevave, Mir, or Yu, Yada, Iota, Tatwamasi, Babi. Some thinking of it like that. More amused with a grin, finding the transfer of his personality now asking of it why, knowing out, y'all, sorrow. Mirrored matter, turning out in toward a black round blissful energy. Indivisible invisibility now, energy and ABCs of a being seen appearing out in toward a untwisting of it. A single black around twisted as zany thoughts of it appearing, still indivisible in the first place. A being seen merely in toward appearing of it in two. Information of long term, a wild memory of a being anybody. Now finding himself in word freedom awareness of any or everybody now ask God knowing any day, quivering to why now light supersonically y'all into a subtle, sublime dreamtime body, lightened his load. The pure seduction of attention now reverting to that dream body, only offset by the roll of the quantum loop, by the loop of gravity weight, of waiting with intent of awakening now, knowing projecting otherwise. At attention only in the or why moving away. At attention still in motion, merely mirrored as any thoughts of a life or a death. At attention still in the word freedom awareness of now a wave here out in her eyes, zapping a chintzy, measly thinking of everybody turning into the future. The few, a view that you are I, all, a real reality at attention of a being still indivisible, uno, you now, y'all, as thoughts turning into or out of, you projecting out as X, y'all, a knowing, a curving, loop, I whole, I now on, wave as a being seen out in toward a twisting into her eyes as leap black into or out of it. Here out in her eyes, everybody, In a her eyes, waves of a con, she us now essay to keep y'all waiting with the weight a la queen and K of that in which a quantum gravity appears to disappear, he mused. Geez, us waiting of it here out in her eyes, and now, as God now knowing, projecting out waves of everybody as coming black around, echoing, instilling in the Kamadi. To perceive, we all turn into out of any intent to appear again. Still completely complete completion. CCC, seer sight seen as a being seen. Indivisible invisibility of any individual merely appearing a gazing at he flashed. Paruma in a Y-eye of a being seen appearing a gazing at still that, as he had been a prior Y of a being seen, scrolled his mirror mind.